Kia ora, I'm Pip, also known as Pippity Pop from New Zealand. And today we're going to make a bouncing baby to go with our stork that you will see in Balloon Magic magazine. And what we need to use for this particular design is a white Q160, a pink Q160, two white Q260s, a yellow Q260, we just need a scrap of that, a blush Q260, a blush 6-inch quick link, or depending on what colouring you would like your baby to be, you could use mocha or chocolate brown, and if you haven't got a quick link, you can use a 5-inch round with a raisin. So let's get started. We're going to start with our 260 white, and we're going to inflate it, leaving a 3-inch tail. And we'll just tie that off. We're going to start with a pinch twist, just a little one, so a 1/2-inch pinch twist. We're going to inflate our second 260. Again, leaving a 3-finger tail. We're going to tie that off and make a small pinch twist. For this design, we're going to do a weave, which is also known as a flat weave. So we're going to start with a 4-finger bubble, and I would say that's around between 3 to 4 inches. We're going to have the pinch twist on this side, and we're going to connect the second pinch twist on the other opposite side. So we've got this arrangement. Now we're going to choose our longer balloon, and we're going to measure that up and run it down alongside our first bubble, and we're going to tie that or twist that into our pinch twist. Whoops. So this is what we're looking at, and they're going to be parallel. Now for our next twist, we're just going to roll off a little spacer bubble. We're going to measure this second bubble or third bubble against our first pair, and we're just going to make it another 2 fingers longer, or a 1-finger longer bubble. So we've got this. We're going to have a spacer bubble, and we're going to twist that in. So now we've got 2 bubbles, a third bubble that's longer, and again we're going to run our balloon that's longer, the longer of the 2 balloons, down lengthwise an equal size with that third. Now there's 2 ways you can thread this balloon through the gap, but what I find is easier is to roll those 2 around. And this is beginning to start forming our weave. Now we're going to start with our third layer. We're going to measure this along, and then we're going to allow another 2 fingers and match that up with a spacer bubble. We're going to run the longer again of these 2 balloons down lengthways. When we reach the end again, we're going to roll this unattached balloon underneath, and that's the third level of our weave. For this design we want 5 rows. Going to repeat again. We want to form a V. Now this weave is great for costuming, as it is a very stable weave. and when made larger you can actually wear it. We're going for our fifth row. Again, a spacer bubble. We want to ensure that our spacer bubbles aren't too large, or else we'll end up with quite a gap, and we would like it to be quite closely woven together. So we're going to do our spacer bubble, again allowing a couple of fingers extra length, a spacer bubble on this side, choose the longer of the two, run it lengthways to be of extra length, and again roll that under. So now you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. Now to finish this off, we're just going to make a small pinch twist on either side. And we're going to discard these loose ends. We can tie that off. Also going to do the same here and tie that off. We'll just remove those extra pieces here just to make it neater. So this is the base of our little cocoon. We've got 5 layers, and now we need to put the wee hood on it for our baby to lie in. So we're going to pull out our third 260Q, and again we're leaving about a 4-finger tail, and we're going to attach this balloon onto one of our top pinch twists. We're going to make a small loop here. Now I make this design often at birthday parties, and the reason why, as well as for delivery pieces, the reason why I leave a wee gap in there is that you can actually puppet the wee head of the baby, and I'll show that later. So it's nice to have a wee access point for your hand. So this wee loop is just leaving, you can see the gap here, and depending on the length or the width of your cocoon, you can work out how long the length should be. Our next balloon's going to be larger. We're going to run that over the top, a bit like a rainbow. So then we've got our second layer. And if you would like, you can stretch this balloon out and do a third. And what I tend to do is just have that just slightly larger and run that over, so it gives a nice wee shell. We're going to trim this off, and if you're like me, I love saving the tips of my 160s because they're great for eyes, and I usually have a whole bag of them there. And we're going to tie that off. So we've got this wee finished cocoon. Now it's time to make the little baby to go inside. So we're going to blow up our 260Q blush. Now I think it's probably important to mention at this stage that you really want to, when you're making a delivery piece, is to get some idea of the colouring of your baby, because it probably is not so nice for the parents to be delivered a baby that's a completely different colour to their own natural colour. So try and carefully work out, such as asking for hair colour, that sort of thing when you're taking an order. Now we're going to start with our little baby's heel, which is only a little 1/2 inch bubble, and we're going to create a pinch twist here. Now I think it's important to just mention, for those that don't know, if you grab the lip of your balloon here and fold it in, you can see that you get quite a rounded pinch twist. by grabbing the knot and hooking your finger up, you're actually ensuring that the twist from the knot and the twist from the bubble are joining. And that gives you a lovely tight pinch twist, and you should be able to release it without it coming undone. We're now going to give some little feet. So this is the little foot, and it's only a wee 3-fingered bubble. We're going to create 3 toes, and again, just a little 1/2-inch bubble, hooking your finger up, twisting around. For our second little toe, we're hooking our bubble up, and we're doing the same for the third. So there we've got our wee 3 toes. Now I don't make 5 toes, or else the pinch twists are all fighting for space, and it does give it a wee cartoony look. We're now going to put a little, or twist off a little spacer bubble, and we're going to make 3 more toes. So we've got our little pinch twist heel, a 3-finger bubble, 3 1/2-inch bubbles, a spacer bubble, 3 more toes, and then we're going to add another foot. And of course babies have 2 heels, so we want an additional 1/2-inch bubble for the second heel. This means your wee feet are going to be in this arrangement, which is perfect for this design. Now we're going to thread this blush up into our wee cocoon. Now depending on the size of your starter bubble, it can be a wee bit difficult, but you'll do it. If I was to build the cocoon around this 260, we would have to put pinch twists all the way up. So I do it this way so it keeps a nice finish, nice slimline finish, and this is probably the trickiest part. I think the cuteness is in the wee feet sticking out the bottom. You want to pull it so they're firm, but you want to have them at right angles so that when it's lying down, the wee feet are sticking up. Of course, your cocoon can be any colour you would like. I just like white because then you can accentuate it with other features or other things. Now we're at the level between the top of your little cocoon or papoose. We would like 2 pinch twists, and this is going to be the neck for your baby. They only need to be little, you're not going to see them. Now at this stage you can discard this blush, but I'm also going to show you another thing that you can actually use the blush for. So we'll just put that down and I'll show you what else we can use it for. we'll just tie this off. So now we've got our little feet, our 260 running through the centre, and at the top we've got the 2 pinch twists. Now it's time to make our little baby's head. So using our quick link, we want to give the wee head, we want to inflate the balloon so it is as wide as it is tall. Not too big, we want to keep it in proportion. And we're just going to tie that off. We'll sit that there. Now of course I've used yellow, but depending on the colour of the hair, you can use any 260 colour that you would like. We're only going to make 3 small pinch twists, so you only need to use a scrap. We're going to start with a little 1/2 inch bubble, and we're going to make a pinch twist, a nice tight pinch twist, and again with our second bubble, and we're going to align them this way. Our third bubble is going to sit on top, or our third pinch twist is going to sit on top. So we've got 2 bubbles neatly sitting side by side, and the third bubble is on the top. And we're just going to break the remainder off and tie this off. Now using your quick link, we're going to tie that into our hair. Nice and secure. With my juggling skills. Okay, got this. Now I'm going to put the wee face on here so it's easier for you to see. For this wee person's face, I actually use 2 little ovals, just like you would do a smiley face or the smiley face prints. Some little eyebrows. A little cheeky nose, and I've got a very pale pink Sharpie which I'm going to give this wee baby some cheeks, and I'm going to draw them in little squiggles like you would do for a lot of cartoon pictures. They don't have the solid cheeks. Now one tip if you are worried about drawing faces that I would suggest, if you do an internet search, a Google search, and bring up cartoon faces, there's just pages. It gives you a full array of designs. And what you can do is print off the designs that you like. Just get an old balloon, any particular colour, size, and just practice and practice and practice until you get very confident, and before you know it, you'll be able to just draw on a balloon with great confidence and come out with an excellent face. Of course, if you are concerned about your drawing, there are some marvellous stickers, face stickers, prints that can come out. You can also buy balloons with prints on them. So for the wee mouth, I just do a wee half smile up here. Now I'm just going to highlight those eyes. Now for those that work with Eddings pens, which I do, I work with 2 pens. I colour one with a black tip and tail. Now this pen is the only pen I use to draw on top of ink, because when you use these paint pens on top of colours, especially black, the tip then gets a bit dirty and turns quite grey. So when you go to use your paint pen straight onto a balloon for say a lovely white background or teeth, it has a grey effect. So whenever I'm writing on a balloon, just directly on the balloon, I use a Sharpie that's not touched any paint, or sorry, any pen. So this wee Sharpie's just going to have a couple of highlights in the eyes there. Now I usually put a wee trick into this design, because on this side we've got our little smiley face, on the back, especially faces that mothers are very aware of and very used to, including dads, is the crying face. So for this design, I use the little cartoon crying eyes. Sorry, a little nose. I'm going to give little red growly cheeks or sad cheeks. And we're going to give him a little, or her, a little crying mouth. Not very happy. I'm going to give this wee baby a couple of wee teeth. And of course you can put a tongue in as well if you would like. I often don't mention that the baby's got two faces, because when children play with them, they'll discover them for themselves. So we've got our little happy face and our little sad face. We're going to put the little happy face out. By doing that, we're just going to attach the nozzle onto our pinch twist here. I'll just make sure that's dry. And we're going to push those pinch twists down. And we're going to put the wee head here. And there's our little baby sitting in there. Now for the stork to be able to hold the baby, we're going to use a 1-inch Q, sorry, a 160 Q. And you can leave quite a long tail because we're only going to be using half the balloon. We're going to tie this in to our top pinch twist, and we're going to create a little handle. And tie it into the second one over here. Now if you want, you can actually add a row of bubbles to create a lace effect. Of course you can have different colouring. Whoops. We're going to tie that off. The other thing is that when you make it for birthday parties, you can push this back and it can be added onto the top there and children can use it. The reason why I leave the little gap at the back is that you can then grasp the little baby and you can actually use it to puppet it. Especially around children, they just love that. Now, we can actually add, by using your scrap of your 260, if you would like, you can make an additional 3 pinch twists. And I'll just show you. So they're just little pinch twists. Make 3 of them. And you can actually put them in the top there, and one set each side gives the wee baby little hands if you would like that. Now, if you know what sex the baby's is, after the baby's born, I do a few of these for baby showers. So this is the announcing that the baby's going to be arriving soon. So I would use a colour that's suitable for both girls and boys, but I put a little teddy bear on there. So for my little teeny tiny teddy bear, I blow up a 160. In this case it's going to be a little girl, for a little girl, and I make a little 1-inch bubble and pinch twist it. Sorry baby. We're going to twist off another little 1-inch or 1/2-inch bubble. This is going to be the cheek, a little 1/2-inch bubble for the ear. Or if we're looking at 2 fingers for these larger bubbles. a little one finger bubble. So that's our arrangement here. This is going to be our second cheek. So at this stage, this is the arrangement. We've got a pinch twist, a bubble, a 2-finger bubble, 1-finger bubble, 2-finger bubble, 1-finger bubble, and a 2-finger bubble. We're going to actually push that pinch twist through the head, and we're going to twist these ears. So here's our little teddy bear head. We're now going to twist off a 3-finger bubble, and we're going to repeat that and join them together at the neck. We're going to twist off a bubble half the size as the body, and we're going to do a second bubble. So these are little 2-finger bubbles here. We're going to push this join into the base, and we're going to repeat again. So we'll finish off with this little completed bear here. Now we're not going to remove all of the tail or the scrap, because we want to use that as an attachment point. But before we do, we're going to put his wee face on. And it does look quite unusual until you put the wee markings on. So for this wee figure, have 2 little eyes, a little triangle for the nose, and then I use a super fine pen for his wee mouth. We'll even give him a little patch. Put a wee heart in there. Because we all know teddies are full of love. And again, using my eddings that I use on top of ink, we've got our little teddy here. Now, I'm just going to grab another one that's fallen down. So of course this is, you can make a little one for a boy, little one for a girl. You could even make a bigger cocoon and put 2 babies in if they were having twins. Make sure you give them 4 feet. I'm going to pop that up here. Now often you can puppet your baby so that you can start off with your crying baby, and then when you come up to give it, this is if you were doing it for a birthday party, as you're coming up and giving it a hug and you're talking to the children and reassuring the baby, you give it back to them and the wee face is smiling, and honestly it's pure magic. So the stork's beak is made in such a way that you can thread this holder through the beak and it'll hold on to this little baby. So here we go. Here's our little completed bouncing baby. I hope you love him, and happy twisting. Thank you so much. Hei konei rā.